Hello everyone and welcome. Tonight we're diving headfirst into the soul-crushing yet somehow also life-affirming world of work hours. That's right, we're talking about the amount of time people around the globe dedicate to their jobs. You know, that thing that pays the bills, funds your questionable online shopping habits and occasionally makes you question your entire existence. Because let's be honest, the concept of work-life balance is often more aspirational than actual, like aiming for a perfectly ripe avocado at the grocery store. You might get lucky occasionally, but most of the time, you're stuck with something either rock hard or disconcertingly mushy. We'll be taking a trip around the globe from countries where pulling all-nighters is practically a national sport, to those where the workday ends promptly at 5 p.m. so people can go, I don't know, build a canoe or something equally wholesome. So buckle up, grab your beverage of choice, be it a triple shot espresso or a calming chamomile tea, depending on your current relationship with your job, and let's get this international timesheet stamped. Our first stop takes us south of the border to Mexico, a country known for its vibrant culture, delicious food, and, well, some of the longest working hours in the developed world. And by long, I mean really long. Like a telenovela that just won't quit, but with fewer dramatic hair pulls and surprise inheritances. According to the OECD, the average Mexican worker clocks in over 2,100 hours per year. To put that in perspective, that's like binge-watching every episode of Friends 5 times over. And no, I don't mean the actual show, which, let's be honest, you've probably already done. I'm talking about watching every episode 5 times back to back. Now, there are cultural factors at play here. Mexico has a strong work ethic, often rooted in a sense of familial duty and providing for loved ones. Plus, let's not forget the ever-present pressure to succeed in a competitive job market. But long hours don't necessarily translate to high productivity. It's like that old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it produce a groundbreaking marketing campaign after its 12th hour in the office. Now you might be thinking, but what about siestas? Don't Mexicans get those long midday breaks to recharge? And while it's true that the concept of a siesta is deeply ingrained in Mexican culture, the reality is a bit more complicated. See, like most things in life, siestas are subject to the whims of capitalism. Many businesses, especially in urban areas, simply don't have the luxury of shutting down for a couple of hours in the afternoon. So while that idyllic image of workers leisurely enjoying a long lunch and a nap might hold true in some parts of the country, for many Mexicans, the siesta is becoming as elusive as a decent work-life balance. Which is a real shame because, let's face it, a world where everyone gets a midday nap is a world I want to live in. In fact, I think we should make that our new global initiative. Mandatory siestas for everyone. Who's with me? Next, we're jetting off to South Korea, the land of K-pop kimchi and a staggering number of work hours. South Koreans work an average of 1,905 hours per year, significantly higher than the OECD average. This relentless pursuit of productivity comes at a cost. South Korea has one of the highest suicide rates in the world, with work stress often cited as a factor. Now you might be wondering how South Koreans cope with this intense work pressure. Well, aside from the obvious coping mechanisms like copious amounts of caffeine and the occasional existential crisis, there's also the wonderful world of PC bangs. These are essentially internet cafes on steroids, offering high-speed gaming, comfy chairs, and a much-needed escape from the pressures of everyday life. Think of it like a pressure valve for the collective stress of a nation, where you can blow off steam by virtually slaying dragons instead of your boss. And these PC bangs are everywhere in South Korea. They're as ubiquitous as Starbucks in Seattle, except instead of the smell of burnt coffee and quiet laptop clatter, you're greeted by the glow of 1,000 screens and the furious click-clacking of keyboards. It's a fascinating and somewhat surreal aspect of South Korean culture, where the lines between work and leisure become increasingly blurred. And while it's not exactly a healthy solution to the country's work-life balance issues, it does offer a glimpse into the coping mechanisms people develop when faced with relentless pressure. Ah, Greece. Land of ancient ruins, delicious gyros, and surprisingly long working hours? That's right, folks. Turns out those idyllic Greek islands aren't just for lounging about with a glass of ouzo. Greeks work on average a solid 42 hours a week. That's more than Germany, the UK, and even the USA. Yet Greece's productivity lags behind many European neighbours. Greece has a rather relaxed approach to time. Timetables are more like guidelines. This laid-back attitude can make for an inefficient work environment. Now you might be thinking, but John, what about the siesta? Surely that explains the long work hours. And yes, the siesta, that glorious midday break, is indeed a cherished tradition in Greece. But here's the thing. It's not some magical productivity hack that allows Greeks to work longer hours. In reality, the siesta is often more about survival than leisure. When the midday sun turns your brain into a feta-stuffed grape leaf, a little break isn't just pleasant, it's practically mandatory. Plus, many businesses actually close during siesta time, so it's not like people are just sneaking in an extra nap while on the clock. So while the siesta might offer a brief respite from the workday, it doesn't fully explain Greece's long working hours, it seems. The Greeks, like their ancient myths, are a bit of an enigma. They work long, they relax hard, and somehow it all seems to balance out. At least that's what they tell me. I, personally, would be reaching for a second glass of ouzo. Next up on our whirlwind tour of global work cultures, we land in Chile, known for its stunning landscapes and delicious wines. Chileans work hard, averaging 45 hours per week, but they cherish lunch, gathering for a multi-course feast of empanadas and completos. Many businesses shut down for 2 hours daily to save a lunch now. That's a work culture I can get behind. But don't let those leisurely lunches fool you. Chileans are nothing if not dedicated to their jobs. In fact, they're practically Olympic athletes when it comes to working overtime. It's not uncommon for employees to stay late, work weekends, and generally blur the lines between their professional and personal lives. Some might call it workaholism, others might call it dedication, but whatever you call it, it's just part of the Chilean way. And hey, when you've got a plate full of empanadas waiting for you at home, it's easy to see why they're in such a rush to finish up at the office. But it's not all about the food, of course. Chileans take pride in their work and are fiercely loyal to their companies. They see long hours not as a burden, but as a sign of commitment and a way to get ahead, which, is admirable and all, but maybe someone should remind them that there's more to life than spreadsheets and PowerPoint presentations, like, for example, enjoying a second helping of empanadas without feeling guilty about all the overtime they're racking up. Just a thought. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're headed to Israel, a country known for its ancient history and vibrant startup scene. This tiny nation has more startups per capita than any other country. Israelis take their work ethic seriously with long hours and late nights. It's a fast-paced, competitive culture driven by innovation. This go-getter attitude has earned Israel the nickname the Startup Nation. Israelis are not just workaholics. They value family, tradition, and downtime. Sabbaticals are common, offering a chance to recharge. It's a break to reconnect and return refreshed. Israelis work hard but also know how to relax, a lesson we could all learn from. All right, let's be honest. After that whirlwind world tour of countries where people practically sleep under their desks, you're probably craving a little bit of, dare I say it, sanity. Well, strap yourselves in, because we're about to take a refreshing dip in the canals of the Netherlands, a country that seemingly stumbled upon the elusive fountain of work-life balance. Now, I know what you're thinking. John, are you sure you haven't accidentally wandered into a utopia designed by exhausted office workers? And honestly, you wouldn't be entirely wrong. The Dutch, my friends, have somehow managed to crack the code. They work to live, not the other way around. Imagine that. The Dutch have woven work-life balance into their society. Flexible work arrangements are the norm. Part-time and remote work are common. Treating employees well leads to happier, more productive individuals. And their vacation time is legendary. Forget your 2 weeks of PTO, Americans. The Dutch take 4 to 6 weeks off per year. They're off exploring or enjoying quality time with loved ones. Imagine a world where people aren't constantly tethered to their jobs. Maybe the Dutch are onto something the rest of the world could learn from the Dutch approach to work-life balance. From the land of tulips and stroopwafels, we now journey to the land of bratwurst and beer, where efficiency isn't just a goal, it's practically a national religion. That's right, folks, we're talking about Germany, a country that approaches work with the precision and focus of a master craftsman. Let me stop you right there. Germans take their work seriously, but it's not all about grim determination. There's artistry and pride in a job well done. The average German worker clocks in around 35 hours per week, but Germany consistently ranks among the most productive countries. It's almost as if they've discovered the secret to squeezing every last drop of productivity. So how do they do it? Well, for starters, they've mastered the art of common sense. Meetings are short and to the point. Communication is direct and efficient, and there's a shared understanding that time is valuable, not something to be wasted on unnecessary meetings or endless email chains. German work culture emphasizes efficiency and well-being. They understand a well-rested employee is productive. Generous vacation policies ensure work-life balance. Evenings and weekends are for family and friends. Vocational training is highly valued. Skilled labor leads to successful careers. The Germans have mastered a balanced approach to work. Hold on to your Lego bricks, folks, because we're about to enter a realm where work-life balance isn't just a concept, it's practically a national pastime. That's right, we're venturing into the magical land of Denmark, a country that seems to have cracked the code on living well while still getting things done. Now, you might be thinking, John, isn't Denmark that place with the ridiculously high taxes and free healthcare? And to that I say, yes, but it's also a country with one of the happiest and most productive workforces in the world. So maybe, just maybe, they're onto something. What does cozying up by the fire have to do with productivity? Everything. The Danes know a happy, well-rested employee is productive. It's about balancing professional and personal life. Danish workplaces emphasize collaboration and work-life balance. They enjoy generous vacation time, exploring the world, embrace Hygge, prioritize well-being, and balance work and happiness. Right, Norway, land of fjords, Vikings, and apparently a shocking amount of free time. You see, Norwegians work an average of just 38.9 hours a week. Now, before you start furiously Googling cheap flights to Oslo, let's dig a little deeper, shall we? Because this isn't just about clocking out early. This is about a deeply ingrained cultural philosophy that values, dare I say it, a life outside of work. I know. The concept sounds about as alien as a penguin in a sauna, but stick with me. Norwegians seem to have cracked the code when it comes to balancing productivity with, actually enjoying themselves. They prioritize family time, outdoor activities, and generally just not letting work consume their every waking moment. So, what's the secret to Norway's success? It's a mix of strong social safety nets, employee well-being, and a balanced work-life culture. Generous parental leave and universal healthcare, flexible work arrangements, and trust. They value life beyond work, a happier, healthier, and more productive workforce. Ah, France, the land of romance, fine dining, and apparently a whole lot of leisure time. Now, we've all heard whispers of this mythical 35-hour work week, a concept so radical it might as well be written on the back of the Declaration of Independence in invisible ink. But is it too good to be true? Well, like most things in life, it's complicated. France passed a law back in 2000 mandating a 35-hour work week for companies with over 20 employees. The idea was to boost employment, improve work-life balance, and generally make everyone's lives a bit more, shall we say, joie de vivre. And you know what? It kind of worked. Look, the French aren't afraid of hard work. They just have a different definition of what constitutes a fulfilling life. They value things like long lunches, leisurely vacations, and spending quality time with loved ones. It's an approach to life that prioritizes well-being over, burning yourself out before you hit 40. And let's be honest, who hasn't dreamed of a 3-hour lunch break, a glass of wine in hand, discussing philosophy and the meaning of life? Now, I'm not saying we should all be striving for existential crises over our midday baguette, but maybe, just maybe, there's something to be said for slowing down and savouring life's simple pleasures. The French have a saying, travailler pour vivre, ne pas vivre pour travailler. It means work to live, don't live to work. And frankly, it's a mantra we could all stand to embrace a little more. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a croissant and a strong cup of coffee with my name on them. Well, there you have it. We've travelled the globe, explored different work cultures, and hopefully learned a thing or two about the relationship between work and well-being. From the long hours of Mexico to the relaxed pace of Denmark, it's clear that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to work-life balance. But one thing's for sure, we could all benefit from taking a step back and reassessing our priorities. Life's too short to spend all your time chained to a desk, even if that desk does have a lovely view. So go ahead, book that vacation, take that yoga class, spend some quality time with loved ones. You deserve it. Thanks for joining us on this journey around the world of work hours. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more interesting content. See you next time.